Welcome to Arkansas High School football with highlights of this week's game. Arkansas High School football is brought to you by Razorback Concrete, Barton Glass, Pepsi, Commercial National Bank, Audio Center, Reynolds Electric, Tom and Stan's Automotive, Ken's Sleep World, and Dwight Bailey Construction.
Welcome to the Bill Reed Show featuring the Arkansas High Razorbacks. I'm your host, Marty Filagamo, and last night the Razorbacks journeyed in a rainy night to El Dorado to take on the El Dorado Wildcats for the conference championship, and sad to say the Razorbacks came out 15-0. The Wildcats beat the Razorbacks. It was a tough night to play. We knew El Dorado had a quality football team, and we just couldn't make the plays when it counted. And of course, when you don't score any points, it's hard to win.
Marty, it's difficult to win, needless to say, if you don't score. We had some opportunities to score, and I think over the course of the night we had as many opportunities to score as they did. But they were able to capitalize on theirs, and we were unable to capitalize on ours.
Well, I think it has to be attributed to the fact that El Dorado had a lot of good football players, and they made some things happen that were not good for the Razorbacks, and they made some big plays, and the statistics do not show that El Dorado dominated the game because they won 15-0, and I just have to say that the Razorbacks played hard on defense. They just were a little too light at times.
Well, we did play well defensively. We played hard, probably as hard overall as we played this year. We played, in El Dorado, and they're ranked #1 in the state of Arkansas, and rightfully so. We made more first downs than they did. We had more yards rushing than they did. But the difference in the ball game, I think, were 2 or 3 things, Marty. One was they could throw it and catch it and pass block. We could not pass block and throw it and catch it as well as they could, and then there were some penalties that were a little tough too at times.
Well, of course, that's all part of football, and I think that we can't fault the Razorbacks. They had a good effort, and I know that you're disappointed that you couldn't come out with a share of the conference crown, but you're still in the playoffs, so there's always hope.
Well, we're looking forward to our journey this week to on the road and see what will happen in the playoffs.
Well, Bill, we're going to watch the highlights of the first half, but first we have these messages.
We lined up like we were going to onside kick the first one, and of course we took the wind and field position there and started and moved the football, had some first downs. That's John Caldwell running on the left side for a first down, and we've got pretty good field position. That's Donnie Smith inside, and John Caldwell again, and we've got a third down, or no, we're going for a 4th down and 1 here, a 3rd down and 1, and there's Charles McLean in for the first down, and the Razorbacks are moving the football. First half, we moved the football quite a bit more than they did as far as on the ground was concerned. John Caldwell off the right side for 5 or 6 yards, and we broke our diamond a little bit over the course of the night. We ran a couple of other formations because we can't line up and block those people that look that good and that old and that much bigger than we were. But our kids tried real hard, and we wound up having some turnovers, and they really hurt. Scott Flanagan kept the ball outside, and here we are. As you can see it there, 4th down and 1, and this is a pitch sweep. John turns it up, cuts back the best he can, and slides, and their defensive halfback comes up and makes a play there for El Dorado.
I would imagine El Dorado was surprised that we were able to move the ball as well as we did against that big line.
Well, Marty, when no one else has, and then they look at our size and so forth, I'm sure they were shocked. And the same thing defensively. We were outweighed 81 pounds a man, and they could not run the football at us with consistency. And this is a big shock to them, I'm sure.
Razorbacks still have the ball. This is a kind of a shuffle pass that was not successful.
That was Scott Flanagan dropping, and here we are on a pass, and the ball wobbles. This is a situation that this pass was there, and on this time we could not complete it. Later in the ball game, we complete it and have a one-on-one set for a touchdown. The last man gets us, but that's the way things work. There's a big hit defensively by Pat Hopkins as they try to turn the corner. Defensively, we played Eddie McClure and Torrance Campbell at the tackles, and Warren Hill played some tackle. Anthony Williams played some. Here's a big play here. We force it with the corner on the outside well, and they fumble the ball, and the Razorbacks recover it there in the mud, and we've got good field position.
And you can tell the Razorbacks are an excited ball club, and they wanted to win this ball game badly.
Well, this is going to be a big effort here offensively, Marty. We had a chance to break on top, as we're going to see, and this is going to be a big play here in the next 2 or 3 series. This is a keeper by Rod Smith, and a good block breaks it, and here we are going down the football field, and we're down. This is our deepest penetration of the night. You can see the goal line there is looking at us about 15 yards away right now, and good run there.
Good effort.
And we're at the 11 with the second down at the 11-yard line. And the big play is right there, the big key that hurt. And there's a bobble snap, and the play could have been good. And as a result, we have a big third down situation. And we throw the ball, and we drop the ball. And we drop it at the 6. So we had to go over the field goal, and we get a little bit of pressure, but we just not able to hit the ball solidly enough to get it through the uprights.
There's a lot of rush, but they didn't quite tip the ball, but as you say, Chip didn't hit it cleanly, so it went for naught. El Dorado's back on offense, and they're going to strike big right here.
They threw a little slant pass, and we were flat-footed between 2 of us, and Kevin Johnson from the backside runs him down. And the ball changed hands now from there deep on their end of the football field, where we had a chance to score. In a matter of a minute, it's on deep in our territory with them an opportunity to score.
It shows how quickly the fortunes of football can change. And now El Dorado is going to try a sweep to the left.
And they're going to score on the sweep to the left. This is a play that we had an opportunity to intercept the football and just dropped it. That could have been big. It could have been big. We play, we're anticipating sweep right here in what we did. And they had a spin option pitch right quick, and we just played wrong. And as a result of it, those kind of misses cost you. And the difference in El Dorado's football team, of course, in our football team, they could play and play to let you have 2, 3, 4 yards and so forth. In order for us to take the advantage of our missed size alignment, we had to do things that tried to get them in the backfield or things like that.
El Dorado had a good kickoff man, too. He kept kicking it into the end zone, and it just certainly negated any run back that we could have.
Marty, that was from the 35-yard line. They had a 5-yard penalty, and he kicked a waterlogged ball in the end zone on the fly, and that's super. Of course, you know, I know I told all of our kids and so forth that he had kicked off the last, I think, 10 out of 12 in the end zone or something. He's just a super kicker. Offensively, our center's Joe Sharp, and our offensive guards last night were James Williams and Derek Clements, as we're in a little, excuse me, an unusual formation there, trying to take advantage of El Dorado, hoping they won't line up consistently correctly on the other side. Here we are with a pass that's batted as we try to get it to one of our receivers, Curtis Martin, and Curtis Alfred Jones, Dennis Johnson, Lonnie Waller, David Sterling. A number of our youngsters played receiver for us last night. That's Chris Kepker snapping the football and Scott Flanagan punting it. And this is an unusual play. The ball's alive. They touch it. It's still alive. We have a right to do whatever we can with it. and we had the whistle that was blown too quickly. We're going to see that again. I'm glad you can see that. That ball becomes dead, and it never was dead. And after the defense can't touch the ball like that, the offense, it's not a good idea for offense to go touch it to down it. You go pick it up because that downs it.
There was a pass interference call in the pond over there on the sideline.
Marty, most of the water was off the field except on the El Dorado side, but it sure was soft in the middle all night long. That's John Tuberville dropping back, and he tried to hit big tight end there, Eric Land, and this is the defensive back, Alfred Jones, intercepting the ball for us. Gonna see this again.
And the Razorbacks did have good things happen. They just weren't able to capitalize on them.
Martin, that's right. We had one block on that. Pat Hopkins made a fine block. This was stopping the drive, and there was plenty of time before the half ended to go ahead and do something about it, and we weren't able to.
All right, at the end of the first half, El Dorado scored on a big play. They got most of the yardage on that slanting pass. What are you thinking? Are you going to change anything you're doing the first half, or you're going to come out and try to do the same things you had planned to do?
Part of the field situation dictated what we could do and couldn't do. We had 2 or 3 other things we would like to try to do, but we couldn't do it. And we just felt like that because of the game situation that good things will happen. People play very hard and good opportunities come, and you've got to take advantage of those opportunities when they do come. And that's the way we approached it. We were playing well as hard as we could play, not maybe as intelligently sometime, but we played hard.
Well, I think you're right. I think the Razorbacks did put out a good effort. They just weren't able to make the play that put some points on the board, and that's what it's all about.
That's the difference in being 5-5 and 9-1.
That's right. That's right. We're going to watch the highlights of the second half. That was a lot like the first half, but first we have these messages.
Dwight Bailey Real Estate and Construction, building.
Pick up action with the Razorbacks on offense. And as you can see, it's tough running up the middle against El Dorado.
Marty, it's tough to get off and move forward. Both teams' offensive line. There's a good throw on a slant-in pass, and we have a good catch out of it. I think if Curtis would have had a chance to catch that one with a run, then things could be big because the secondary people had trouble. Now, they had trouble when they went to plant and cut. And if you can throw the football in weather like this, I think you have a big advantage. And John Tuberville, a 6'2" quarterback, had started every down last year and took them to semifinals of state. He had a great night in this kind of weather. This is a keep that we almost broke, and because of a linebacker's quickness there, they were able to make the play. There it is again, and we were unable to handle it. It's hard to throw. The ball didn't have a very pretty spiral on it when either one threw it. Oh, that could have been good. That was the same, we call it the whoopee pass. It's an inside shovel pass, and it had a chance to be a big play, and that's against someone as big as El Dorado. You've got to be able to do things like that. There's a screen pass to John Caldwell, and there's a big first down for us there. And we're on the march. The score is 7-0, and
there's a big tough play for the Razorbacks right there.
Marty, that was one of 3 turnovers we had, and then come back and we stopped them, and then they broke through. Linebacker Theola Reynolds broke through there and hit a quarterback as we were raising our arm, and they're going to take the football in 3 efforts and score. That was Stacy Fraser over the right side. Their fine tailback that's rushed for about 1,400 yards this year, I think, and John Tuberville behind those 250-something pounders at the 1-yard line. It's going to take 2 efforts to get it in there, and it was pretty close. But, John got it in there behind that big line. Defensively, I thought Eddie McClure after watching the film this morning, did a super job. They had a bad snap, and they caught the ball and went in the end zone for a 2-point conversion.
And it's 15-0 now, and it's going to take 2 touchdowns to get close to them, and time is running out.
Time is hard to, come by in weather like this. I think this was a fine run back
Good
to
return.
give you a chance, and that was Donyen Smith. And at the point where we usually get tackled, he was able to break a tackle, and that enabled him to get another 15 yards. That's a heck of a run right there. He got hit 6 times, I think. After stopping and starting this morning, John Caldwell got hit 6 times and to get back to the line of scrimmage.
El Dorado was able to smell victory now, and they wanted to play hard.
Yeah, they, up front, they knew that our game plan would have to change, and they peeled back their ears. And there's a big play right there. We threw a pass there. Scott Flanagan did, and they're going to measure it, and that was caught by Dennis Johnson for the first down on a situation that we had about 15 yards to go. That's the same one that back earlier that we had intercepted. Yeah. And, that's the difference. If it happened back earlier that it was there both times, and one time we were able to execute it, next time we weren't. That would have been good on the pitch, but we couldn't pitch the ball in weather like this, not one-handed. You make it get 2 hands and pitch it, but it's kind of tough to do.
And surprisingly, we were able to move the ball either in or around, just with not any degree of consistency.
Well, you can't break away with our speed versus their speed, but we did some things I thought that really helped us with some angle blocks, but those things right there are the things that hurt us a great deal, and that was turnovers and inability to throw when we had to, and then some decisions that they made, in adjusting. And El Dorado's a fine football team, and we certainly don't want to take anything away from them. I really hope that they wind up number 1 in the state, and needless to say, I certainly think they will.
And we had a chance to catch it. Of course, he was covered, but dropped it, and I know that was a long walk across the field, knowing that this was your last regular season game and you would shut out 15-0.
Marty, it was tough, certainly, but I think after evaluating the situation and talking to our kids afterwards, we certainly commended them on an all-out Razorback effort, because that's what took place. And needless to say, we feel like that if we get that kind of effort out of them every week, then we'll have a chance with anybody we line up with.
I think it's safe to say that since the conference started, the Razorback effort has been super. And they won some football games that they might have not, should have won. But I know it's disappointing to you to end the season with 2 conference losses, but you do have a chance to be in the playoffs now, and we're going to talk about the playoff situation in just a moment, but you have some special guests first, and after these messages, you're going to talk to some very fine people.
Our first guest is number 23, David Sterling. And David, tell us about one of our redheads, number 23, David Sterling.
My name's David Sterling. I'm 5'9", 140 pounds, and I play receiver for the Razorbacks.
David, what's your nickname, and how did this come about?
My nickname's She-Best, and that's because I got such great hands like the All-American She-Best at Arkansas.
Well, I tell you what, we've had a great time in practice, David, with you and your pass and receiving and blocking and so forth. And I guess the big thing is that when you miss one is the way we get on to you about She-Best. But you're doing a great job. We appreciate your effort, and good luck to you down the road in the playoffs as we go this coming Friday.
Thank you.
Our next guest is number 12, and I'll let number 12 tell you about Chip Lott.
I'm 5'8", 157 pounds. I play defensive back for the Razorbacks, and I'm also place kicker.
Chip, tell us a little bit about your place kicking this year.
I've been pretty successful this year, and I've missed one extra point during conference play and one field goal last night.
I know Chip's comment after the ball game last night when he missed a field goal in muddy conditions. He said, "Coach, I guess I'm human after all." And I told Chip I was glad we had him on the program when he could tell us about him being a human rather than tell us how great he is. But he's done a super job. And Chip, that was, I believe we could stop the golf ball last night in that kind of weather.
Yes, sir.
Chip's also one of our golfers, and we really appreciate him and the job he's done, and he's earned that kicking position by hard work. Chip, thank you, and good luck to you next week.
Thank you.
Our next guest is a two-way performer, which is a rarity in high school football, and I'll let number 70 tell you about number 70.
My name is Torrance Gamble. I'm 6'1", 195, and I play defensive and offensive tackle.
And Torrance, how does a two-way performer survive in weather like that, carrying an extra 20 or 30 pounds of water and mud?
It really doesn't bother you because you want to win so bad that you have to try to keep going.
I tell you what, Torrance, you've done a great job with conditioning and coming on and playing, and we're very proud of you and look forward to this next week as we go on the road in state playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Torrance Gamble. Our next guest is one of our coaches that's about my size and real close to, and I'll let Coach Stone tell you about Coach Rex Stone.
Well, I'm Rex Stone. I coach the offensive line. I've been with Arkansas High for 11 years and very proud to be here.
Rex, you want to talk to us a little bit about our offensive line this year as opposed to what we have had in size?
There's a big difference. We were averaging about 250 pounds a man, and we're down to about 190 pounds a man, and we're kind of short on experience, but we're real proud of the way our kids have played this year. They've come along and they're doing all they can do, and that's all you can ask of a kid.
They really are, Rex, and that's a tribute to you and the hard work that you're doing. I know it was one of the toughest things on you last year, and going and see graduation. It was for me too, because I know a lot of those people we've had in the past are doing real well in college.
Yes, sir. We're real proud of them. We've got about 4 or 5 that are still playing in college and starting and doing a good job and representing Arkansas High very well.
Rex, thank you, and as I said, that's a tribute to you and the work that you've done, and good luck in preparation for an opponent that wants us badly since we beat them here last year.
Yes, sir. I think they've got a score to settle with us. We'll look forward to the challenge.
Thank you, Rex. And now let's go back, and Marty, let's catch up to date the best we can on the playoffs.
Okay, Bill. Well, last night was the last regular season ball game, and the Razorbacks finished in second place in their conference. And as a result of that positioning, the Razorbacks will journey to North Little Rock next Friday night to take on a very, very tough Sylvan Hills team. And as Bill mentioned just a few minutes or seconds ago, that last year in the first round of the playoff, the Razorbacks beat Sylvan Hills here. So this has always been a good rivalry, Bill, and you can bet your life that next Friday night the Bears are going to have their war bonnets on, because that's going to be a good game. They have a quality football team, and I think they have a chance to go all the way.
Marty, what you said is exactly true, and of course I coached 10 years there, about 10 miles from them, and we were very close friends or bitter enemies, whichever way you want to call it. And they were a junior-oriented football team last year. They had lost some people this year with injury, but they're back well now, and they're rolling.
Well, I want to invite all the Razorback fans to go to Sylvan Hills next Friday night, because I think weather permitting, if it's a dry field, it'll be a very close ball game, because I think the Razorbacks are going to put out a good effort, and I have a feeling that they're going to win the first football game in the playoffs.
Marty, we certainly hope so.
Thanks for watching.
This has been Arkansas High School Football with highlights of this week's game. Arkansas High